Hi everyone, so my name is Zoel, and in this presentation I'll be talking to you all about my journey as a comm major through my foundation, practice, and inquiry courses. I never knew much about communication studies before and grew unsure about my choice in choosing it as my major. It wasn't until junior year of college when I began taking my core major classes where I was learning more about communication studies and my interest in it began to grow. To begin this presentation, I will start with talking about my foundation courses. The foundation courses taught me how different contexts of a situation can be approached using certain communication studies theories. Learning about theories wasn't my favorite, but I understood the importance of their use. It's important to apply the theories we learn in communication studies to understand the context better and beyond how we see it from the surface. A foundation course that I took that stood out to me the most was COM 178F, Critical Intercultural Communication, because I felt it left a greater impact on me and helped shape my understanding of communication studies. I learned how the definition of culture varies from each individual based on their experiences, how culture can be perceived differently through our messages, and general verbal and nonverbal communication skills shape culture. One of the biggest takeaways that I took from this class is that we must be aware of what culture is to other communities in order to effectively communicate and create mutual understanding between one another. I've only completed one inquiry course as of now, but I was able to learn about useful research methods in communication studies through this course. Through these methods, I was able to expand my approach to certain ideas and understand messages through the use of certain mediums, such as film, academic journals, or articles. The inquiry class that I took was COM 145I, Rhetorical and Cultural Criticism. In this class, the two research methods that stood out to me was rhetorical criticism and meta-analysis. Rhetorical criticism helped me to further analyze a piece of text or film and understand the meaning behind the message it's trying to convey. I had to take in the multiple perspectives that create meaning to what I was researching about, which contributed to my analysis of the text or film. One of the significant assignments that I did for this class was writing a case study on the dynamic of mother-daughter relationships in Asian American families and how that relationship is depicted in film. The research method of meta-analysis was implemented into this assignment because I had to consider other studies that were already done on this topic and how I can incorporate them into my own study of it. It was a bit difficult at first to do so because my topic was an idea that was studied as much, but I was able to develop an analysis of the topic through rhetorical criticism. My biggest takeaway from this class is that I grew in my knowledge of the types of research methods I can consider when conducting analysis on an idea or topic. However, I recognize that there's still a lot of room for me to grow in terms of applying these methods outside of a writing context and also in ways that I have yet to discover on my own. So far in my journey, I have found the practice courses to be interesting and helpful to learn about. The communication skills that I learned were applicable to all sorts of real life situations that I could see myself in, and I felt confident in applying those skills to them. I was very engaged in what I was taught, which I found to enhance my understanding of the course topics. COM 111P interviewing was a course I found to be the most helpful and interesting to learn about. I took this class with the intent of how to undergo interviews and say the right answers to interview questions, but I found that it was much more than that. I learned how to not only undergo interviews, but how to conduct them as well. A takeaway that I would say is interviewing isn't about what we say, but how to perform in them as well. We have to consider our nonverbal behavior, internal or external factors that can affect the interview, and our knowledge of what the interview in general is about. I found that this class was very helpful to me in terms of prepping me of what to expect in future interviews I come across. As we begin to close out this presentation, I want to talk about the few things I realized when reflecting on my past courses. This reflection has helped me to understand how much I've grown academically. I came into college knowing very little about what communication studies even was, and I've come a long way since then. I know so much more now than what I did before, and I'm more confident in myself about what I've been studying the past 4 years. The second thing I realized is that the courses I took are not a reflection of all that I know about communication studies, but rather a fragment of what I learned from what interested me. There are tons of comm courses. I can only take so many that I can handle. The courses I've taken were what I chose because there was a part of me that had genuine interest in them, and not because it was just another requirement I had to fulfill. Lastly, I still have so much more to learn about even after I graduate. What I have learned in my 4 years here is not all that I will only learn. Taking these foundation, inquiry, and practice courses provide that outline of where to start, and it's essentially up to me on what path I want to create from it. I can only learn more and grow from this point, and I feel confident enough that I can get to where I want to be with my newfound knowledge. Thank you for listening to me in my presentation. I hope you were able to get an insight of where I was in my journey as a comm major and learn a little more about me.